A Syrian brown bear named Wojtek was adopted by the Polish army, learned to carry artillery shells by watching soldiers, marched into battle at Monte Cassino, and was officially promoted to corporal. He had his own paybook, his own rank, and his own serial number. At the Battle of Monte Cassino, one of the bloodiest engagements of the Italian campaign, he carried boxes of artillery shells that normally required 4 men to move. His likeness became the official emblem of his unit. After the war, he retired to Edinburgh Zoo. In April 1943, a group of Polish soldiers newly released from Soviet prison camps were traveling through the mountains of Iran as part of the movement of Polish forces to join Allied operations in the Middle East. Near the city of Hamedan, they encountered a young boy carrying a bear cub, a Syrian brown bear, weeks old, whose mother had been killed by hunters. An 18-year-old Polish refugee named Irina Bokiewicz persuaded the soldiers to buy it. A lieutenant agreed. The cub was small enough to be carried in a soldier's pocket. He was fed condensed milk through an old bottle and slept in the men's tents. He was named Wojtek, a Polish name meaning happy warrior. Within months, Wojtek had grown considerably. He had also absorbed, through observation and imitation, several habits of military life. He learned to walk upright like the soldiers around him, learned to smoke cigarettes and occasionally eat them, developed a taste for beer, and began climbing into trucks to ride alongside the men rather than being transported separately. When the unit was formally enrolled as the 22nd Artillery Supply Company of the Polish II Corps, the Army faced a bureaucratic problem: how to keep Wojtek on transport ships and in military camps without civilian permits. The solution was straightforward. They enlisted him. Wojtek was given an official rank, a paybook, and a serial number. He was a private in the Polish Army. In 1944, the Polish II Corps was sent to Italy to participate in the Allied campaign against the Gustav Line, the heavily fortified German defensive position that ran across the Italian peninsula at Monte Cassino, a monastery on a hilltop that had been converted into an almost impregnable fortress. 4 major Allied offensives had failed to take Monte Cassino. The 5th was being prepared. Wojtek was now fully grown, nearly 6 feet tall when standing, weighing close to 500 pounds. He had continued to watch and imitate the soldiers around him. At the supply depot, he observed the men loading 25-pound artillery shells into crates, carrying the crates to trucks and stacking them for the guns. Crates that normally required 4 men to lift. He began doing it himself. British soldiers who were present later recalled seeing a bear walking upright through the supply area, carrying ammunition crates, loading them onto vehicles alongside the human soldiers. He never dropped a crate. He learned by watching and copying, with no formal training, what it had taken the men months to master. The Battle of Monte Cassino began on May 11, 1944. The Polish II Corps was assigned the eastern approach to the monastery, the sector considered most difficult and most dangerous. For 11 days, they fought. The casualties were enormous. The monastery fell on May 18th. A Polish soldier raised the regimental flag over its ruins, and a bugler played a call that hadn't been heard since the Siege of Lwów in 1920. Throughout the battle, Wojtek worked. He carried shells. He loaded trucks. He moved with the supply column as it pushed ammunition forward under fire. He did not panic under artillery. He did not flee. After Monte Cassino, the 22nd Artillery Supply Company formally adopted a new regimental emblem, a bear carrying an artillery shell. The emblem was designed in direct tribute to Wojtek. He was also promoted, from private to corporal, in recognition of his service. Corporal Wojtek continued with the Polish II Corps through the Italian campaign, present at battles including Ancona and Bologna, and crossed into Germany at the war's end. When the war ended, the question of what to do with a 500-pound army bear became pressing. Poland had been absorbed into the Soviet sphere. The Polish soldiers could not return home. Many emigrated to Britain. Wojtek went with them. On November 15, 1947, Wojtek was formally demobilized. His papers were processed. His rank was removed. He was no longer a soldier. He was donated to Edinburgh Zoo. He lived at Edinburgh Zoo for the rest of his life. Former soldiers from the Polish II Corps visited him regularly. They would climb the fence and share cigarettes with him. He remembered them. He would wrestle with them, the same way he had wrestled with soldiers in camp in Iran and Italy, gentle enough for human companions, rough enough that you knew what he was. He died on December 2, 1963, at the age of 21, weighing over 1,000 pounds. His statue stands today in Edinburgh's Princes Street Gardens and in the grounds of the Imperial War Museum in London. He started as an orphaned cub bought from a shepherd boy in Iran. He ended as a decorated veteran of one of the most savage campaigns in Italian military history, carrying ammunition under fire at Monte Cassino, listed on official military rosters with a rank and a serial number. The bear that fought in World War II and was promoted to corporal, not a mascot, not a pet. A working member of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company, Polish II Corps, who did a job that needed doing, and did it well enough that his unit put his face on their emblem. Corporal Wojtek, one of the strangest, most improbable soldiers in the history of any war. Subscribe if you want more. See you in the next one.